The interpretation of ancient scriptures, particularly texts like the Book of Enoch, often sparks considerable debate. Today, we're diving into a perspective that suggests these texts and even the entire Bible are not what many assume them to be. Instead, they might be allegories for a powerful, mind altering sacrament.
That's right. The core premise is that all scriptures, including the book of Enoch, speak to what's called the real sacrament. The true meaning of Yahweh, for instance, is I am, which, when understood through the lens of ancient entheogenic practices, points directly to AM, or Amanita muscaria. The Old Testament describes the wet mushroom, while the New Testament depicts it dried, resurrected on a cross, and taken in you. This entire narrative, then, is about one sacrament on earth that installs God directly in your head.
That's a radical reinterpretation. If the scriptures are essentially guides to an entheogen, what does that mean for historical figures like Christ? And where does Constantine fit into this, given the claim he turned Christ into a man in 325 AD?
Christ was not a man. This is a critical point. Christ was the shared, bloomed mind space available to those under the influence of the sacrament. When Constantine intervened in 325 AD, he introduced a twiddle to reality. The phrase is real transformed into religion, because fundamentally, only the true sacrament allowed one to see what actually is real. The idea of the kingdom being at hand isn't about some distant future, but an immediate experience you unlock with the key of this sacrament. We have decoded it all properly as it was intended to be decoded by those on the sacrament itself.
So, the very concept of God and Christ as presented in mainstream religion is a deliberate misdirection from the real entheogenic experience. You're suggesting a systematic, allegorical hiding of these truths.
Precisely. The entire Bible, as it's called, is allegory. They had to hide these truths within stories. A god was simply another word for entheogen. These words were interchangeable across cultures. Every tribe throughout history had 12 such gods, and one was always red, representing the Christ cap. You can see this reflected in various substances: peyote, cannabis, ergot, Amanita muscaria, cubensis, ayahuasca. Again, Christ was not a man. Even symbols like wheels within wheels can be seen as dried amanita caps, which appear that way and are often covered with what look like white stars, like eyes.
And how do you uncover this specific interpretation? Is this a decoding process reliant on academic study, or does it require a particular state of consciousness to even grasp?
It's decoded properly as it was intended by those on the sacrament itself. This process brings genius and clarity. Nothing can stop what's coming, this rediscovery. We're meant to regain that clarity. The beast tries to steal these ancient truths, but Christ will be born in you when you follow the ancient protocol. This protocol involves specific dosages, like 3 Christ caps taken 4 times a day for 33 days, ideally after a 40-day fast. The 33 vertebrae in our spine serve as a reminder, as God gave you 33 vertebrae to remind you, and you are my portion and my cup.
So this wasn't just an individual practice, but something communal within early Christianity? That would mean the Christian calendar itself is a distortion.
It was the Christian calendar. They would all take the sacrament together at Eats Her or Easter and Christ Mass. They experienced communal bloom, heard each other's thoughts, and the voice of the Christ entity. We now have the gnosis, the true knowledge. The paper and ink Jesus has become the biggest meme since 325 AD, and again in 1776, hidden by what's described as the Bavarian Illuminati's New World without sacrament. We've been using only 1/2 of our brains for 1700 years.
This suggests a significant cognitive shift. How does taking the sacrament affect the mind beyond what might be considered conventional spiritual experience?
The real sacrament switches on your right-hand mind, which is the divine feminine. This allows you to do things wholly in righteousness, as the sacrament aligns your life. You then dwell in Jerusalem, not a physical place, but a mind state of the full man, a 777 state of mind, body, and spirit at a divine level, not just a human one, not 666. The opposite is Egypt, the unbloomed, sacramentless mind. The entire world has been in this unbloomed mind since 325 AD, in what we see as the divine masculine world. We are witnessing the turning of the age from beast to beauty. The apocalypse is nothing more than this very revelation.
So Revelation itself, the biblical book, is simply a trip report, not a divine roadmap for humanity. And for someone embarking on this ancient protocol, what's the recommended approach to ingesting the cups?
Exactly. Revelation was a trip report. Nothing can deny Christ in you. To begin, it's like recording tunes onto a C90 diligently over 33 days. Start slowly. 1 cap is the initial target to avoid uncalming the waters of your tummy. There's an allegory in Jesus calming the waters and Peter not believing it would subside, making himself sick, like falling in. But eventually you can calm and walk the waters. The goal then becomes 3 caps a day, then 3 caps 4 times a day until you complete 33 days of full sacrament and Christ is alive within you.
This reinterpretation challenges foundational aspects of religious history and spiritual understanding. The idea that a powerful, mind-altering sacrament is the true God in your head, and that traditional religious narratives are allegorical covers for this experience, is certainly a profound thought.
It is. And nothing can stop what is coming. The beast always reacts strongly when the sacrament returns, like it did in 1899, which then led to World War I and the Spanish flu jab. The beast lies 100% of the time. This is the good news. Spread this good news. See you in the field. Amen.
This episode has offered a truly alternative lens through which to view ancient scriptures and the history of faith. If you found this discussion thought-provoking, consider sharing it with someone who might also find it interesting.